पढ़ाते हैं, उसमें बोलते हैं कि सब कुछ छोड़ देना चाहिए, बट
हाँ, ये चीज नहीं, मैं कुछ नहीं बोलता हूँ, मैं वो लोग कुछ जो कुछ बोल रहे हैं वो आपको सुनाता हूँ। हाँ, पतंजलि को सूत्र जब पढ़ाता हूँ तो पतंजलि क्या बोल रहे हैं ये सुनाता हूँ। अष्टावक्र गीता पढ़ाता हूँ तब अष्टावक्र क्या बोल रहे हैं वो सुनाता हूँ। और वो जो विरोधाभास है वो भी ऊपर ऊपर का है, असल में तत्व एक ही है, यही तो हमको समझना है। इन द वैरायटी यू हैव टू फाइंड द यूनिटी, in the variety, in the difference, in manyness, you have to find oneness. So that is all aim of our philosophy. So whatever differences we are finding, or the so-called a little bit of contradiction which we find, it is required for us for going to the reality. वो बहुत जरूरी है, उससे मंथन होता है, मंथन। जैसा छाछ का मंथन होता है ना, मंथन करने से ही नवनीत निकालता है, उसी प्रकार ये जो विभिन्न प्रकार के विचार हमारे तक पहुंचते हैं वो हमारे अंदर एक प्रकार का मंथन निर्माण करते हैं। सो दैट इज व्हाट आई वुड लाइक टू से नाउ।
सर, हियरिंग योर वॉइस इज डिवाइन। कंटेंट तो से हम that itself is divine, hearing your voice.
No, that is, see, because it is see, everybody is trying to explain how to reach that divine, so that is they are the people sent by the divine, whether it is Patanjali, whether it is Ashtavakra, whether it is the great sages and the rishis, they are divine people, and therefore whatever they say, it's really an indication to go towards divine only. There is no doubt about it. तो सब तो उसी परमेश्वर के ओर निर्देशित कर रहे हैं हम लोगों को, और इसीलिए ऐसा लगता है कि ये देववाणी है। सभी जो लोग बताते हैं ये भी देववाणी है, वो भी देववाणी है। सो दिस इज हाउ वी आर फीलिंग।
Can we start, sir?
Yeah, surely. I'm waiting for your signal.
Yeah. No, some conversation.
But then, if we want to start, I will unmute and start.
Yes. I will take a small prayer. We'll take a small prayer, then we'll hand over.
Okay.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarutam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Thank you so much. Dr. Agashe sir is already with us, Shriram ji. So, kind request, sir, please take over and start the session. Thank you.
Okay. So, after salutations to the great sage Patanjali, we start our discussion today. And last time we saw that Patanjali has defined yoga as chitta vritti nirodha. So, cessation of modifications of chitta, which can be very loosely translated as mind. We have discussed about chitta very well. So, mental stuff, or in very loose language we say mind. So, stopping the modifications of mind. And then what happens is to realize the self. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. That is what the promise which is given by Patanjali वो आलस्य, चित्त वृत्ति का निरोध होने से पुरुष तत्व का ज्ञान हमको होता है, हम दृष्टा हो जाते हैं। और जब ये नहीं होता है तो वृत्ति सारूप्यम इतरत्र, in all other states we identify with the particular vritti. And then he said that there are 5 kinds of vrittis: pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smrutayaha. So these are the 5 types of modifications of mind. 5 प्रकार के चित्त वृत्ति पतंजलि ने कहे. And that is, I told you last time that this is a very great, it could become an object of great research work in psychology, that mind can have functioning in only 5 ways. Pramana, the right knowledge, satya jnana; viparyaya, mithya jnana, wrong knowledge; vikalpa, imagination, kalpana; nidra, deep sleep; and smrutayaha, memory. So these are only the 5 types of modifications of mind which the chitta can have. And they can be klishta and aklishta. They can be painful and non-painful. That is what he told. All those mostly painful, non-painful are only those like Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshana, some divine type of vrittis which will help us to walk on the spiritual path. They are called as aklishta vritti. Otherwise, the vrittis are really krishta vrittis only. Any kind of mental modification gives us stress, strain, and dukkha only. So all that we discussed last time. Now, one of the things which can be asked is that if that chitta vritti nirodha, what do we mean exactly by chitta vritti nirodha? Mind is not functioning at all. And if the mind is not functioning, are we able to, the yogi who has brought about this chitta vritti nirodha, he will not be able to see the world, interact with the world, know anything in the world, because there are no chitta vrittis. You can know through the mind only, you know the world. So does it mean that he doesn't know anything about the world? That is the first question which we get. कि क्या जो योगी चित्त वृत्ति निरोध के स्थिति में है उसको कुछ भी जगत का अनुभव आता ही नहीं, क्योंकि मन तो काम नहीं कर रहा है, तो इसलिए जगत की अनुभूति ही नहीं आती है? पहला प्रश्न. दूसरा प्रश्न, जब चित्तवृत्ति का निरोध हो जाता है तब सब वृत्तियां खत्म हो जाती है, तो सत्य ज्ञान भी खत्म हो जाएगा, प्रमाण खत्म हो जाएगा, विपर्यय भी खत्म हो गया, सत्य और मिथ्या दोनों ज्ञान खत्म हो जाएंगे. Not only the wrong knowledge will go, but even the so-called right knowledge will also go. Even the memory will go. I will not remember anything at all. Smriti will go. I will not be able to sleep at all because nidra will go if chitta vritti nirodha is there. So pramana, viparya, vikalpa, even I can't imagine anything. I can't even have the sleep as my vritti. So everything will vanish for that person. Does it mean like that? That chitta vritti nirodha mean that I will not be able to experience anything in the world. And what type of person that yogi will be? Will he be like a stone who doesn't feel anything at all? क्या वो अचेतन पत्थर जैसा हो जाएगा कि जिसको कुछ भी बाह्य जगत की अनुभूति ही नहीं आ रहा है, ऐसा हो जाएगा? कैसी स्थिति होगी ये चित्तवृत्ति निरोध की? So that is one of the questions which can be asked literally. But what Patanjali is saying is that we have lost our self with capital S, self, Purusha. We have lost ourselves in these chitta vrittis. in this noise of chitta vrittis, the self has been lost. Self has to be found, so you stop the noise of chitta vrittis, then you will go back to the self. So now, if I go to the self, what happens to me? He says that actually, when chitta vritti nirodha is done, the yogi becomes drashta of these chitta vrittis. It is not that he will not see anything in the world, he becomes only a witness. So it is a transfer from getting involved. Now what is happening in our case, the ordinary people who have not been able to do chitta vritti nirodha, we are getting attached to chitta vritti. जो चित्त वृत्ति हमारे मन में आती है उसके साथ हमारी आसक्ति हो जाती है और हम उसके साथ मिलते हुए उसके जरिए हम जगत का अनुभव कर रहे हैं. So we get attached to the modifications of mind, and therefore we see the world through the glasses of mind, if I can use that word. Now when chitta vritti nirodha is done, I shift myself from mind to that Purusha who is only witness, a sakshi to whatever is happening in the mind. So it is like shifting the attention from the waves to the infinity of the ocean. Waves keep on coming on the ocean, but waves are not ocean. If I go to that infinity, which is called as Purusha, I become only witness to the waves that are there. I don't get involved in any way. I become only a sakshi. So this is the difference between an ordinary person and a yogi. Yogi is also seeing the world. Yogi is also seeing the trees, the buildings, the animals, and everything. Just as I see, just as you see, just as everybody sees, yogi is also seeing all those things. What is the difference? We get affected by what we see or hear or smell. Yogi is only a witness to this. He doesn't get affected in any way because he is only pure sakshi. And that is something which has been told in Mundaka Upanishad very well, which describes this thing as the two birds dwelling on the same tree. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanam vruksham parishashva jate tayor anyah pippala swadu atyan anashnan anyo abhichakashiti. Very beautiful. You know, the Upanishadic words are like music. So highly musical words which you get in the Upanishad is Dva Suparna Sayuja Sakaya. There are two birds, inseparable friends. Samanam Vruksham Parishashva Jate. They are dwelling in the same tree. What is the difference? Tayor Anyaha Pippala Swadu Atyan. One of the birds who is on the lower branches of the tree, he is engaged in eating the fruits. Swadu Atyan, sweet and bitter fruits. He is eating sweet and bitter fruits. The higher bird, Anashtan Anyo Abhichakashiti. He is just an onlooker. He is not eating fruit. He is magnificent bird sitting on the top of the tree, just watching this bird who is engaged in eating different fruits, bitter and sweet. Swadu Atyan. Now, this is precisely what Patanjal is also saying. That if we are not really a yogi and the one who has done chitta vritti nirodha, we are getting variety of experiences, like the lower bird who is eating the bitter fruits and sweet fruits. So that is how we get experiences in the world. Sometimes the happiness and sometimes misery, sometimes stress and sometimes relax and so on and so forth. we are in the world of experiences, while the other bird is only a witness. He is a witness, and he is calm and quiet, only an onlooker, only a sakshi. So that is what the Upanishads are saying, that this lower bird actually now and then he looks up and he sees that magnificent bird on the top of the tree, and he feels, oh, without eating any fruits, and he is the same all the time, no difference in him. So now and then he gets an idea that I should become like him. I should also be a witness like him. And therefore, from the lower branch, this lower bird jumps to the higher branch. As soon as he jumps into higher branch, he sees many, many more fruits, beautiful fruits. And therefore, he forgets the upper bird again gets engaged in eating the fruits. And some of the fruits are very good, some bad, sweet and sour, and so on and so forth. He gets engaged in eating the fruits. This is what happens to us. Now and then we also feel that what is this life of full of stress and strain and everything, and I must do something about it. Everybody feels now and then. But then, so we start jumping. So we join a yoga class, we start practicing something, and we feel that, oh, now I am better than what I was before. The stress has reduced and this and that. But then some new challenges come, and then we get engaged in those challenges. So in each stage of our life, the challenges go on. Different types of challenges we face, and we get engaged in solving those problems. We get engaged in eating the fruits of experiences. What Patanjali is telling is, one must become a witness, okay, like that higher bird. So that is what Chitta Vritti Nirodha means, that you become a witness, not that you don't experience the world at all, but you are not affected by anything that happens in the world. You are a drashta. So shifting the attention from the experiencer to the witness, that is what the yoga means. And now, how to go about it? From Sutra 12 onwards, so we have come up to Sutra number 12, and now we shall start studying the new sutras from 12 onwards. Patanjali has given a very general method of cessation of modifications of chitta. Having defined yoga chitta vritti nirodha, how do I go about this chitta vritti nirodha? किस प्रकार ये चित्त वृत्ति का निरोध मैं कर सकता हूं? So the method the general method which is given by Patanjali is abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. You can bring about cessation of modifications of chitta through abhyasa. Continuous practice is known as abhyasa, and vairagya, detachment. So continuous practice and detachment leads to cessation of modifications of chitta. अभ्यास वैराग्याभ्याम तन निरोधा, चित्त वृत्ति का निरोध अभ्यास और वैराग्य द्वारा हो सकता है. सो ये साधना पतंजलि ने दी है. Now the first thing which we have to know is, he is not saying that it is either abhyasa or vairagya. Abhyasa and vairagya has to be done simultaneously. This is the first point which we have to understand. अभ्यास और वैराग्य ये एक ही साथ साधना. ऐसा नहीं है कि केवल वैराग्य होगा तो चित्तवृत्ति का निरोध नहीं होगा. केवल अभ्यास ही करते रहेंगे. I am going every day, I am practicing asanas, pranayama, every day I am sitting in meditation, every day I am doing practice and practice and practice. Unless I get detached, it is impossible to do chitta vritti nirodha. So abhyasa and vairagya, they are like two wings of the bird which is trying to fly to the freedom. पंछी के जैसे दो पंख होते हैं और दो पंखों के साथ ही पंछी उड़ सकता है, उसी प्रकार अभ्यास और वैराग्य ये दो पंख है उस पंछी के, और वो दो पंखों के साथ ही साधना कर सकता है, and it can fly towards that freedom. You know, abhyasa gives a kind of, suppose if you want to send a rocket into the sky, अगर चंद्रयान आपको भेजना है आसमान में, तो दो चीजों की जरूरत होती है हमेशा. कौन से दो चीजों की जरूरत होती है? एक तो बहुत शक्ति की जरूरत होती है. You have to have some right type of fuel which will give it the speed to go beyond gravity. उसको गुरुत्वाकर्षण कक्षा के बाहर जाने के लिए जो ईंधन लगेगा, वो ईंधन ही अभ्यास है असल में. The continuous practice gives the energy which can take you beyond. Okay. और वैराग्य, हम जो ये धरती से जुड़े हुए हैं, अगर वो यान है, उसको अगर बांध के रखेंगे पृथ्वी के साथ, तो वो उड़ेगा कैसे? उसकी डोरियां तो काटनी पड़ेगी. You have to detach yourself from the earth in order to go into the sky. That is vairagya, you know. So अगर आप सीढ़ी चढ़ रहे हैं, if you are walking upwards on a ladder, for going up you need lot of energy. That is given by abhyasa. And unless you leave the lower step, you can't go to the higher step. You can't say, I am very well here, I like this step very much, I can't leave this. If you can't leave it, you can't go higher. You have to leave the lower step in order to go higher. That is why vairagya has been told. So many people, they feel that why Patanjali is talking about vairagya, we are happy with our families and with our relationship, with my money. And do you mean to say I have to really renounce all these things in order to go higher in the spiritual life? If you have tied yourself to all these things, how is it possible for you to go higher? This is what Patanjali will say. You have tied yourself to your relatives, to your sons and daughters, to your house, to your wealth. These are all the knots which we have. We do not allow us to go higher. तो यान अगर ऊपर जाना है तो उसको हल्का होना पड़ेगा. Lesser the luggage, the better. So this is why both these are very much abhyasa and vairagya are to be practiced simultaneously. And this is what our texts are telling again and again. Not only Patanjali Yoga Sutra, all the texts are talking about abhyasa and vairagya. Even in Bhagavad Gita also you find that when Krishna is advising Arjuna that you have to do tyaga, you have to renounce everything, and then only you can proceed, and then only you can calm down the mind. You have to focus the mind. And then Arjuna says that whatever you are saying is very nice to my ears, but my experience is so different because I find the mind is so fast, so running here and there. How can I control it? Chanchalam hi manah Krishna pramathi balavat drudham तस्याहम निग्रहम मन्ये वायोरिव सुदुष्करम. ये मन इतना चंचल है, मन को पकड़ना हवा को पकड़ने के जैसा है. I cannot catch the wind, I cannot catch the mind. How are you talking about catching the mind? Vayoreva sudushkaram. And Krishna says, yes, what you are saying is very much right. It is not so easy. Okay. अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते असंशयं महाबाहो मनोर्दुर्निग्रहं चलम. There is no doubt about it that it is extremely difficult to control the mind, to silence the mind. मन को नियंत्रित करना बहुत कठिन है, ये तो सभी जानते हैं। अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय वैराग्येण च गृह्यते. Same two things Krishna also said, abhyasa and vairagya. So they are the two important aspects of sadhana. Unless you have those aspects, it is impossible to go further. आगे जा ही नहीं सकते. So this is the basic sadhana which has been given. Now, I have told you last time that Vyasa Bhashya is one of the first Sanskrit commentaries of Badarayana Vyasa on Patanjal Yoga Sutra. It's the most wonderful commentary actually, the first commentary, very authentic commentary, that too. And we saw a glimpse of it when he described Chitta Bhumis, Kshipta, Mudha, Vikshipta, Ekagra, Niruddha, the 5 states of mind, which I told you about last time. They are in Vyasa Bhashya. So while commenting on this particular sutra, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha, Vyasa compares human mind to a river. Vyasa compares Chitta with a river, and he says this Chitta Nadi, a very famous concept which Vyasa has given, Chitta Nadi. Chitta is like a river, but he says this river can flow in both directions. ये चित्ता नदी जो है दोनों दिशाओं में बहने वाली ही चित्ता नदी है. द नेचुरल फ्लो ऑफ ए रिवर इज ऑफ कोर्स डाउनवर्ड. In a natural way, the river will flow with gravity downwards. So there is a downward tendency of the mind to go towards the objects of the world, to get attached with the objects of the field. This is called downward flow of the mind. But it has the capacity to go upward, which is the yogic way. You know, so the yoga way is to go against the current to the very source from which the river has originated. योग यात्रा में हमको जो प्रवास करना है वो विरुद्ध दिशा में करना है. नदी के उगम स्थान की ओर हमको प्रवास करना है, ऐसा व्यास भाष्य में लिखाया गया है. एंड he says that if you travel upwards, then you come to that very sakshi, you come to that very source of the power of mind, which he calls as Chiti Shakti, or the Purusha's power. Okay, so that is what a comment which is given by Vyasa. Now, having told about the general method of Abhyasa Vairagya Abhyam Tan Nirodha, in the following sutras, Patanjali is precisely described what is Abhyasa and what is Vairagya. Abhyasa literally means a repetitive practice is known as Abhyasa. अभ्यास किसी कहते हैं जो बार बार करना पड़ता है. And we know in English it is said practice makes man perfect. If you go on practicing in the beginning, you will not be perfect, but as you go on practicing, practice makes man perfect. That practice is very necessary, and that is what we find in ordinary life as well. Suppose if you don't know how to drive and you start driving as a beginner, how much tension is there in the beginning? You know, where is the wheel and where is the accelerator, where is the gear, the coordination between hands and legs, and looking at the signal, and so many mistakes we may do when we are learning, you know. But after 3, 4 months, 5 months, we become expert. Then the hands know what to do, legs know what to do. And automatically, if there is red signal, we stop and we whistle and drive. We have become perfect in driving. So Abhyasa is repetitive practice which makes you perfect. So that is what Abhyasa means. Now, what is that Abhyasa in yogi, in Yoga Shastra? What is Abhyasa? 13th Sutra tells, Tatra sthitau yatnaha abhyasa. Tatra sthitau yatno abhyasa. Effort to stay in that state. Tatra, उस स्थिति में रहने का प्रयत्न करना ही अभ्यास है। अब उस स्थिति में, यानी कौन से स्थिति में? चित्तवृत्ति निरोध के स्थिति में, शांत स्थिति में, मन शांति के स्थिति में रहने का प्रयास ही अभ्यास है। तत्र स्थितौ यत्नः अभ्यासा। Effort to stay in that state is what he calls as abhyasa. Now we say that, what are you talking about? I have not experienced the chitta vritti nirodha any time. I am not at all experiencing the silence of the mind any time. And you are telling that you stay in the state of silence with effort and that becomes abhyasa. If I have no experience of it, how can you expect me to stay in that state at all? Patanjali says, you have that state, you have not understood it. Actually, that state is available to each and everybody. ये जो चित्त वृत्ति निरोध की स्थिति है, उसका अनुभव तो सबको आ ही रहा है। उस अनुभव के प्रति हमारी सजगता नहीं है. We are not aware that we have the state of silence. You know, between the two thoughts, there is a gap where there are no thoughts. हमारे मन में तो अनेक विचार आते रहते हैं. If I sit silently, close the eyes and just watch, I see that this thought has come, the next thought has come, and next thought has come, and thoughts go on coming. This is the experience of everybody. But is it not true that one thought ends and other thought starts? एक विचार जब खत्म होता है तो दूसरा विचार शुरू होता है, फिर तीसरा विचार आता है, फिर चौथा विचार आता है. तो ये दो विचारों के बीच जो अवकाश है, ये चित्तवृत्ति निरोध की स्थिति है. Patanjali says that the gap between two thoughts is actually the state of silence. We are not experiencing. Why? Because our mind is so fast. The thoughts are coming at such a speed that it is impossible for us to find a gap between two thoughts. दो विचारों के बीच जो अवकाश है, उसके प्रति हम सजग हो ही नहीं सकते, क्योंकि इतने जल्दी एक के बाद एक विचार आ रहे हैं हमारे मन में कि हम देख रहे हैं, केवल विचार ही विचार देख रहे हैं. दो विचारों के बीच जो अवकाश है उसको देख ही नहीं पाते. So one of the sadhanas is to slow down the thoughts. If we are able to slow down the thoughts, it is possible to become aware of the gap between the thoughts. अगर हम विचारों को धीमी गति से आने की चेष्टा करते हैं, अगर हमारी जीवन पद्धति इस प्रकार है कि विचार धीमी गति से आवे, तो हो सकता है दो विचारों के बीच जो अवकाश है, जो चित्तवृत्ति निरोध की स्थिति है, जो मन शांति की स्थिति है, उसके प्रति हम सजग हो जाएंगे. That is why it is always said that yoga is a way of life. If you are with very fast life, hectic speed of life, it is impossible to find a gap between the two thoughts. If you don't get sleep. That is why one of the most horrible diseases in the world today is insomnia. Why? Because the sleep, when you go to bed and you close your eyes and you withdraw from the wakeful state, but what you get is dreams and dreams and dreams and dreams. Why? Because the mind is so fast. You can't keep quiet. Even the deep sleep states are very less even for us. The state of no mind, which could be there in the deep sleep, is very less for us. So that is why through Bahiranga Yoga Sadhana, through Abhyasa and Vairagya, this is what precisely happens. Why we are getting thoughts? If we start noting down the thoughts, if we start noting down what kind of thoughts I got, if you are really serious about Yoga Sadhana And if you start writing down what kind of thoughts you get every day in the evening or just before going to bed, just note down the main thoughts which you are getting in your mind. आज क्या कौन से किस प्रकार के विचार मेरे मन में आए, ऐसा लिखो, 1 महीना 2 महीना लिखो, आपको ऐसा पता चलेगा the thoughts are repetitive. I am getting same kinds of thought. And what kind of thoughts? Thoughts about the things to which I am attached. जिन चीजों से हमारी आसक्ति है उन चीजों के बारे में विचार हमारे मन में आते रहते हैं। ये हमको आसानी से पता चलेगा अगर हम हमारे कौन से विचार है इसके बारे में चिकित्सा करते हैं तो। if we just watch the thoughts, what kind of thoughts, if I am too much attached to children, most of the thoughts will be regarding children. What the child is doing, is he studying well or not, how he will come up in life, all the thoughts around the child. If I am too much attached to money, many of the people, they think about money, where I should invest the money, how should I curtail my expenses, how do I save, where do I save the money. So money, and the thoughts will be regarding money only, and if the attachment is intense, the thoughts will be very fast. That is why many of the people, they have these thoughts only about the money, about the relationship, and if there are some negative experiences in our life, somebody insulting me, the thought goes on and on and on in my mind. If I have quarreled with somebody, the whole dialogue is going on in my mind, on and on and on. Several times, like a bad tape recorder, he said this, I said this, and he should not have said this, but I said this. And it goes on. Why? This is called hectic speed of thoughts. हमारी लाइफस्टाइल ही ऐसी है, हम इस प्रकार आसक्त हो जाते हैं विषयों के साथ कि जिन विषयों से हमारी आसक्ति है उन विषयों के बारे में विचार हमारे मन में आते रहते हैं। जितनी आसक्ति कम हो जाएगी उतने विचारों की गति कम हो जाएगी। The speed of the thoughts will become less and less and less if I get detached. That is why detachment is very important. It is not only abhyasa and vairagya has to go together, particularly for that, And then tatra sthitau yatna abhyasa. Then I have to really carefully observe the thoughts, and not only the thoughts, but the gap between the thoughts. And then I should try to stay in that state of silence between the two thoughts. And that is why I have to change my lifestyle in such a way that thoughts are not too fast. They don't go beyond my awareness, and I feel only the noise and noise and noise. This is what is happening to the ordinary part. If I start watching, that is why many people, if they sit for meditation, they have headache. You tell them that you just sit there and watch what is happening inside. They will get up after 5 minutes. Is too much time. I can't sit for 5 minutes, and the noise is unbearable noise inside my head. I can't really bear it anymore. Sitting in meditation is so difficult. Why? Because of the noise inside. So you have to first decrease that noise. If you want to decrease the noise, you have to decrease the attachment with the world and the things of the world. Find out what are you attached to most and consciously detach from it. Then only you will be able to see that the thoughts slow down. And of course, there are so many other things which we are going to discuss later on. Thought can slow down by slow breathing as well. So this is what he is saying. Tatra sthitau yatnaha abhyasaha. So slow down the thoughts, find a gap between the thoughts, try to stay in that state for longer time. Tatra sthitau yatnaha abhyasa. So this is what practice is given. So what Patanjali is saying, stay, watch your mind, watch your thoughts, particularly watch the gap between the thoughts and try to stay in that gap. Try to stay in that gap where there are no thoughts. That is the idea which is given. Now what, how long I'm supposed to do it? How long it is going to take me for silencing the mind or going to into meditation? The next sutra is telling, Satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara asevito drudha bhumi. Drudha bhumi, you have a very firm foundation for yoga abhyasa. Drudha bhumi. Drudha bhumi means a very firm foundation on which the structure can be built. नींव अच्छी हो जाएगी, दृढ़ हो जाएगी. कब? दीर्घ काल. अभ्यास is not something which is 1 hour practice daily, 1 week course, a crash course in yoga. 1 week course in yoga and you are really nonsense. It is not possible at all. Dirgha kala means throughout life. Yoga is to be practiced throughout, and I would say rather for so many lives. Not only this life, even next life and next life. Dirgha kala. Long, long, long time. How long? Till you find yourself, till you find a goal. Dirgha kala. Nairantarya. Without any break. Nirantara, nairantarya. योग अभ्यास करते समय कोई गैप नहीं लेना है. संडे I will not practice because there are so many guests and it is a holiday anyway. Once at least in a week I should get a holiday, you know. No holidays. Patanjali is a very strict teacher, you know. Nairantarya, without any gap, without any break, without any sick leave, without any earned leave, no leave at all. That is what Patanjali says. Nairantarya, dirgha kala, at all times, throughout life. That is why Sri Aurobindo used to say that whole life should become yoga. Each and every moment of our life should become yoga. Whole life is yoga. That is what beautiful idea which Sri Aurobindo has given, which actually Patanjali is telling here. Yoga is not only 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours meditation every day. Not enough. 24 hours. You know, if you want to really meditate for 5 minutes, what you do for rest of 23 hours and 55 minutes is so important. My behavior for those 23 hours and 55 minutes should be such that I am able to meditate for 5 minutes. 23 घंटे 55 मिनट मेरे मन के अंदर ये होना चाहिए कि 5 मिनट मुझे शांत बैठना है, उस समय मन शांत होना है, तो मैं ऐसा कुछ नहीं करूं कि वो 5 मिनट में वही मेरे ध्यान में आएगा. That is why the change of lifestyle becomes important. That is what vairagya becomes important. Okay. So, satu dirgha kala nairantarya. And then satkara asevito. With all enthusiasm. Many times we are highly enthusiastic when we learn some kind of yoga practice. In the beginning, we are very enthusiastic. If you have attended a Vipassana course, first of all, you tell so many people, I am going for Vipassana. I am not going to be an ordinary person like you anymore. I am going to be a Vipassana. I am going to practice Vipassana all the time. So we are very enthusiastic. And 10 days we learn and maybe we get some glimpse of that meditative state, silence of the mind. So we are encouraged. I am not going to leave it at all. And then we practice and we practice. But as we go on practicing for 1 year or maybe 1 month, 2 months and all, slowly and slowly the enthusiasm goes on decreasing. If I am doing Namasmarana, yes, in the beginning I have taken Nama from Guru, so I do Namasmarana. I do my japa with mala and so sacredness, and I do it. But then later on, enthusiasm has gone because I have promised my Guru, I sit for 1 hour, mechanically I am turning the beads, I am taking the name, it's all become mechanical, you know. There is no enthusiasm. Patanjali says, not only you have to do it dirgha kala, not only you have to do without any break, but you have to do it lot of devotion and enthusiasm. Satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara asevito drudha bhumi. Then only it has firm foundation. So, if you do that, yes, anybody wants to ask anything? Somebody is talking. Anybody wants to ask anything?
Mistake must be. I will mute them.
Okay. No problem, no problem. So these are the two tatra sthitau yatna abhyasa, to stay in the state of silence is called abhyasa, and that abhyasa should be for a long time without break, with great enthusiasm and devotion, and then the practice will have firm foundation. Satu dirgha kala nairantarya satkara asevito drudha bhumi. So that is the definition of abhyasa which has been given by Patanjali. Now we come to Vairagya. So the two next sutras, they are on Vairagya. दृष्टानुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. सूत्र number 15 we are seeing दृष्ट अनुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. So drishta means something which is seen. Something which is seen means something which is experienced. Okay. Anushravika, which is heard. Something which I don't experience, but I hear from others about those objects, and I may get attached to it. I may have desire to have those things. I have not actually experienced it myself, but I hear from others. I hear from others that the Singapore is a very beautiful city, and जीवन में एक बार जाना सिंगापुर. अगर सिंगापुर आपने देखा नहीं है तो कुछ नहीं देखा, जाना ही चाहिए, और इतना नजदीक है, जाना जाओ. And then I have not seen it myself, but hearing from my friends, I have a desire to go to Singapore. I'm just waiting. I just plan. I just save money and so on and so forth, because the aim is to go to Singapore. Anushravika. So I can get attached to those things to which I have not experienced, but which I have heard from others. In the same way, even scriptures tell that if I behave in certain way, after death, I am going to enjoy what is known as heaven, where it is all bliss. So I curtail my desires. I modify my way of life in order to have heavenly pleasures later on after death. There are so many people, मृत्यु के बाद स्वर्ग प्राप्ति हो इसलिए पूजा पाठ करते रहते हैं, इसलिए पापों से दूर रहते हैं. तो ये भी एक प्रकार की आसक्ति है, अनुश्रविक. हमने देखा नहीं है स्वर्ग, लेकिन धर्म ग्रंथों में कहा है कि अगर इस प्रकार पुण्य करोगे तो स्वर्ग प्राप्ति होगी, इसलिए उसके साथ आसक्ति हो जाती है. तो आसक्ति दो प्रकार की हो सकती है. दृष्ट यानी जो हमने अनुभव किया, so I have enjoyed sweet, and therefore I have the desire to eat sweet again and again and again. Once I have taken the taste of sweet, I get attached to sweet. I get attached to name and fame. Because people praise me, I feel very so nice. If so many people come and say, "Oh, wonderful, great," I get attached to it, and I really do something to have listen to that praise again and again and again. Experiencing some kind of pleasure, I want to repeat it to myself again and again. Repetition of the pleasurable experience is drishta. Anushravika, I have not experienced, but I have heard from others, and therefore I want to repeat it. So दृष्टा अनुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य, ये जो दृश्य विषय है या अनुश्रविक विषय है, उसके बारे में वितृष्णा is a very beautiful term which Patanjali has used. So in Patanjali, these are the beauties which you have to catch up in Patanjali. Vitrushnā. Trishna means thirst. I got thirst for something, and therefore unless that thirst is over, I can't be calm and quiet. When I'm thirsty, I have to drink water, then only the thirst will go. So I have got thirst for so many things. Thirst for ornaments and thirst for to become rich, the thirst to become famous. These are all the thirst which we have. Vitrushna means not having thirst at all. What Patanjali has told is, Vairagya is not something like suppressing the desires. This is what happens to many people. In the name of Vairagya, what they do, they suppress the desires. So I am in the habit of taking tea. So now I have learned Yoga Sutras and other things, and attachment to tea is not good for me. So I give up tea. The desire is there inside, but I give up. And when I give up, what happens after that is the mind is telling tea, chattering tea. I had a very good Bengali friend, and he used to say about this, that Shokale uthe, manushe kare, kakera kare, ka manushe kare, cha. कि सवेरे सवेरे कौवा का बोलता है ना, ऐसा मनुष्य आजकल जो है वो चाय चाहिए उसको. So this is what happens to us. And then we say that when I go and take tea, I am satisfied and there is no noise. But otherwise, not having that, if I suppress the desire for tea, it goes on chattering inside. I want tea, I want tea, I want tea. This is suppression of desires. When the desires are suppressed, they express themselves with double force. This is what actually Sigmund Freud also has said, that all the suppressed desires go to the unconscious mind and wait for their chance to spring up. इस प्रकार इंद्रियों का दमन करने से वैराग्य नहीं आता. बहुत सारे जो योग साधना करने वाले होते हैं, वैराग्य के नाम से इंद्रिय दमन करते हैं, इच्छाओं का दमन करते हैं. वो इच्छाएं सुषुप्त रूप में रहती है, और रहने के बाद वो they spring up with double force. Then it is impossible to control. Vitrushna means not having desire at all. Your lifestyle is such, it is not that you have desire, but you don't go for the thing, is suppression of the desires. Vitrushna means desire doesn't arise at all. वितृष्णा का मतलब यह है कि इच्छा उत्पन्न नहीं होती, प्यास उत्पन्न ही नहीं होती. ऐसा नहीं मुझे प्यास लगी है लेकिन मैं पानी नहीं पीता हूं, मुझे भूख लगी है लेकिन मैं खाना नहीं खाता हूं. दिस इज सप्रेशन ऑफ डिजायर्स. But sublimation of desires, what Patanjali is talking is not suppression of desires, but suppression is transfer into sublimation, उदात्तीकरण, इच्छाओं का उदात्तीकरण. If I enjoy something which is higher bliss, why I will go for lower bliss? If I grow in my consciousness, the lower desires will automatically fall off. Just as my desire, when I was a child, I had a lot of desire for for the toys. We all had that. 5-6 साल के जब थे तो खिलौनों से कितना लगाव था. कोई खिलौना का हाथ भी लगेगा तो जोर से चिल्लाते थे, मेरा खिलौना है, मत ले लो. It is my doll, you can't take it. And suppose after 25 years, you on your birthday, I bring to you the same doll. I said that I know since you are 5 years old, I know you, you know. And so I know that you like dolls, you know. So now it is your birthday. We have not met in 25 years, but now I remember that. And I have brought this beautiful doll for you. You said, what nonsense? Now it is not my choice. I have grown. I don't like dolls anymore. Now my choice has changed. My desires have changed. What has happened? Do you say that you have really renounced the desire for doll? No, you have grown. You have grown. Your consciousness has grown. So the desires are no more for the toys. In the same way, for a yogi, when he really has some kind of spiritual bliss because of yoga sadhana, the worldly desire fall off, just like a fruit which is ripe, it leaves the tree. परिपक्व फल जिस प्रकार वृक्ष से अपने आप छूट जाता है, वृक्ष उस फल को धरित्री को समर्पित कर देता है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो परिपक्व हुआ. अब ऐसा नहीं है कि वृक्ष ने फल का त्याग किया, ऐसा त्याग नहीं होता है. उसका टाइम हो गया, इट हैज फॉलन ऑफ, क्योंकि वो परिपक्व हो गया. तो परिपक्वता से जो त्याग होता है उसको वशीकार वैराग्य. सो दैट इज व्हाई दृष्टानुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. You have done it with total consciousness. There is no trishna remaining. You are not suppressing it. It is happening as a natural, spontaneous process because of the growth of consciousness. This is known as Vashikara Saujna Vairagyam. This is known as Vashikara Vairagyam. You have complete control over it, and then only it has automatically come down. There is no suppression of desire. You know, there is no thirst inside because you are enjoying the higher bliss in the spiritual world, and therefore the lower types of attachments have fallen off from you. You know, so vairagya is not something काट छाट करनी नहीं है वैराग्य में कि ये उठा के फेंक दो, वो उठा के फेंक दो. ऐसा अगर हो जाएगा, you will have lot of trouble, you know, in that kind of vairagya. And it is not something renouncing everything and going to the... See, this is the general thing which was there in us, that if you really want to achieve something, you have to really renounce the world, and the best way is to go away from the family, you know. Even in Hatayog Pradipika also, so Atmarama says, Ekante Mathika Madhye Statavyam Hatha Yoginam. Maybe in the initial stages it may be required that you go into Ekante Mathika Madhye, you go to the forest, erect a small hut. Mathika Madhye Statavyam Hatha Yoginam. But then, if you go away from the family and sit in solitude, do you mean to say that you have renounced the world? Sitting in the solitude, you may be thinking about your child. मैंने इतना कमाया हुआ है और अभी मैं हिमालय में आके गुफा में बैठा हुआ हूँ, क्या मालूम ये लड़का क्या कर रहा है, मेरी पूरी संपत्ति ऐसा ही. My wife also may be going to the malls and spending money left and right. Now there is no check. My son will also. Now you are in Himalayas, but you are attached to your son, your daughter, and your wealth and everything. This is not vairagya at all. That is why there is a very beautiful shloka in Sanskrit which says that Vanepi dosha prabhavanti raginam Gruheshu sarvendriya nigraha tapaha. अकुत्सिते कर्मणि यः प्रवर्तते निवृत्तरागस्य गृहं तपोवनम. The main thing is that inner detachment, nivruttaragasya, one whose detachments have fallen off, griham tapovanam, his house itself becomes a place of austerity. Vanepi dosha prabhavanti raginam, those who are attached to the world, if they think that by going to the forest they will achieve higher states of consciousness, their doshas, their attachment come with double force if they are in the solitude. Vanepi dosha prabhavanti raginam, those who are attached, their attachment will come up with double force even if they are in the forest. Gruheshu sarvendriya nigrah tapaha, one who is really detached, remaining in the house, he can be balanced, he can be calm and quiet, he can be detached. गृहेशु सर्वेंद्रिय निग्रह तपा, जिसने अपने सारे इंद्रिय अपने वश में किए हैं, जिसको वशीकार वैराग्य प्राप्त हुआ है, वो घर में रहते हुए भी शांत रहता है, डिटैच रहता है, असंगी रहता है. अकुत्सिते कर्मणि यः प्रवर्तते, one who is involved in nishkama karma, desireless action. All his actions are without any motive, without any desire, nishkama karma. Nivrutta ragasya graham tapovanam. If all the attachment, nivrutta ragasya, one whose attachments have vanished, graham tapovanam, his house itself becomes a place of austerity. उसका घर ही आश्रम बन जाता है. कहीं हिमालय में जाने की जरूरत नहीं, कहीं जाने, क्योंकि आपका मन और आपकी इंद्रिया तो आपके साथ है और सारा संसार आप हिमालय में ले जाएंगे, ऐसे ही छोड़ के जाएंगे. सो दैट इज व्हाट इज टोल्ड. नाउ वन और टू मोर थिंग्स आल्सो हैव बीन डिस्क्राइब्ड इन द स्क्रिप्चर्स, दैट दिस वैराग्य, sometimes there are temporary vairagyas. That is what they say, that 3 types of temporary vairagyas have been described in our system. One is called Purana Vairagya. Another is called as Prasava Vairagya. Another is called as Smashana Vairagya. So these are the 3 types of things which can happen in our life, which can apparently bring about some sort of a situation in which you feel that you withdraw from the world. It appears as if you are withdrawing from the world. Purana Vairagya, you go and you listen to a very tremendous discourse by a great Swami. किसी स्वामी के, किसी योगी के प्रवचन में आप जाते हैं और सुनते ही इतना प्रभावशाली होता है कि आपको लगता है बस ये बाबा जी ने जो बताया है ना, हम अपनी सब छोड़ देने वाले हैं, हमको कुछ नहीं चाहिए. सच बता रहे हैं, हाथ मेरे हृदय को छू लिए वो बात. इसको पुराण वैराग्य, पुराण मीन्स सम स्क्रिप्चरल डिस्कोर्स. You have listened to a scriptural discourse and therefore you feel that you are awake. Now that vairagya remains only for some time. फिर घर में आओ, फिर business, next day the business starts again, and slowly that idea that I should withdraw goes, and you plunge into the same world again. You see your children, you see everything. और आपके बाबा जी के लिए ठीक है, मैं तो बहुत सर्वसामान्य आदमी हूँ, मेरे लिए मेरी बस की बात नहीं है. पुराण वैराग्य goes. Prasava Vairagya, they tell that when the lady delivers a child, for some time she feels that she is free from sex now. Prasava Vairagya, प्रसूति के बाद स्त्री में एक प्रकार की वैराग्य की भावना आती है, which is also very temporary. और स्मशान वैराग्य, when somebody dies, near and dear, somebody dies and we take him to the cremation ground, and when we are sitting there, the thoughts come that अरे आज ये गया, क्या मालूम कल मुझे भी लोग यहाँ लेके आएंगे, क्या जिंदगी तो 2 दिन के किसको मृत्यु कब आएगी कहाँ मालूम है मृत्यु के बारे में। ये भी तो अच्छा आदमी था, ऐसा नहीं लगा था कि ये जाएगा, चला गया, अचानक चला गया। And what is this life and what I am thinking about having name, fame and earning wealth, it is all अर्थशून्य है जीवन। स्मशान में बैठते हुए आपको ऐसे विचार जरूर आते हैं मन में कि ये कुछ भी नहीं है, 2 दिन का खेला है ये जिंदगी, और उसमें इतनी आसक्ति और इतने विचार, इतनी कल्पनाएं, so much of planning I have. I will have my house here, I am earning money, and then I should have flat in Bombay, another flat in Pune. What for? I am not going to carry it out. This is Smashana Vairagya. So, so long as you are in Smashana, that Vairagya remains. You come back, take a bath in his name, and put on the TV, Vairagya goes along with the serial. So, Patanjali said these are the temporary types of things which may happen to us incidentally. It will not take you to that Vashikara Vairagya. Vashikara Vairagya comes with the choice within, when you have complete control over the mind and senses. Okay. And the last sutra 16 on that is Tat Param Purushakhyate Guna Vaitrishnam. So 2 kinds of Vairagya also. Vashikara Vairagya is the Vairagya about the outer world. I am not concerned, I am not attached to anything in this world, health, wealth, and the relatives and the things of the world. I have to get detached from the inner world as well. What is that inner world? This is my body, this is my mind, these are my senses, this is my inner world from myself. The so-called me, the so-called ego, the greatest among this attachment is my ego. If I can't tolerate my ego is hurt. Now, Paravairagya is Tat Param Purushakhyate Guna Vaitrishnam. Guna, Trigunat, Sattva, Rajo, Tomo, Guna. So, Purushakhyate, with the knowledge of Purusha. If I have the knowledge of Purusha, that is the inner principle, the pure consciousness, which I really am, जो पुरुषख्याति होगी, मैं पुरुष हूं, इसका ज्ञान जब प्राप्त होगा तो गुण वैतृष्णम, गुणों के बारे में जो चाहत है, गुणों की जो प्यास है, त्रिगुणों की, सत्व रज तमो गुण, दैट इज प्रकृति। तो गुण वैतृष्णम का मतलब है प्रकृति से ही मैं अलग हो जाऊंगा, अनासक्त हो जाऊंगा, प्रकृति के प्रति पूर्ण रूप से अनासक्ति, which comes only in Kaivalya sthiti, really speaking. In Kaivalya comes with Paravairagya. Tat Param, the height of renunciation is renouncing the gunas, because everything which is happening in the world, according to Sankhya, which we have seen, it is interaction between 3 gunas. They are the 3 forces of the universe which gives up all sorts of experiences. जो भी कुछ हमको अनुभूतियां आ रही है जगत की, ये तो त्रिगुणात्मक ही है, सत्व गुण, रजोगुण, तमोगुण. The interaction between those, they are giving us experiences of the world. Now, if I go beyond the gunas, if I become gunatita, then I achieve that supreme renunciation, paravairagya, tat param purushakhyate guna vaitrishnam. Then I renounce from the world itself. I renounce from the inner world and the outer world, and I am with Purusha itself. So this is the highest kind of detachment which we can have, and in this kind of detachment there can be the Kaivalya sthiti can come if that detachment is complete. Paravairagya is complete. We shall stop here for a moment because it is 5:05, and after 5 minutes break we will come back again and we shall continue with the subject again. 5 मिनट हम विश्राम लेंगे. 5 मिनट के बाद हम यहाँ वापस आएंगे और अपनी चर्चा आगे बढ़ाएंगे. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So just
Thank you.
give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes break. Please be in the meeting only.
So, shall we start again?
Yes, sir.
Should we have some quick question or something, or we shall start?
As you say, sir. Whatever you prefer.
नहीं, अगर किसी को कुछ पूछना है तो one
And
or two
कर
questions
सकते
we can have. We can take
एक
it.
क्वेश्चन चैट बॉक्स में है, उसको ले सकते हैं शायद. एक बेन
हाँ,
जोसेफ जी का
ऐसा ही
question है.
करो. अगर चैट बॉक्स में है ना,
Hmm.
तो those questions we can discuss now and then go further.
Okay. And other questions we'll take afterwards. There is one question in chat box by Ben Joseph. Is there a way or process to give
Please
up?
tell me who has asked you.
Is there any way to give up attachments so these thoughts don't come or slow down?
Yes, there is way means your nishchaya only. The way to detachment is you should really decide to get detached. Unless you have that determination, detachment doesn't come. And detachment can, as I told you, in the beginning, of course, detachment becomes little difficult. Whatever you are attached to leave that becomes difficult. But if you leave that for some time and if you achieve some higher type of bliss, then the lower things will fall off. तो इच्छा जो है वो सूखे पत्ते की जैसी गल जानी चाहिए, नहीं कि उखाड़ के फेंकना. ये ठीक नहीं होगा. It should not be suppression. It should be the sublimation of desires and not suppression of desires. That is what should be remembered at all times. कि इंद्रियों का दमन करना नहीं है, इंद्रियों का उदात्तीकरण करना है. उदात्तीकरण का मतलब you seek higher joy and therefore lower joy has gone. Many of us, for example, playing cards also is pastime, but then if you really are in yogic field and other field, you will not pass your time by playing cards. Because you have got some high, if the students, if the others friends say that no, let us go for in the club, you say I am not interested in that anymore. It is not that you have renounced going to the club or playing cards or pastime and all that. You simply, your interest has changed for higher interest. Your interest has changed for higher interest, and therefore the lower type of interest have vanished from you. So no more you like to go and play cards with them, have drink parties and go to the clubs and dance and other things. You are not interested, because you are enjoying some other things which are higher. You are enjoying the scriptures, you are enjoying good company, you are enjoying the company of sadhus and saints, you are enjoying reading Bhagavad Gita or any other scriptures which you like. So that is how, that is what is meant by sublimation of desires, udattikaran. So that should be the theme. Any other question which has come?
Yes, sir. Thank you. One more question in the chat box and then we can start. This is from Dr. Rashmi Ranganekar. Sir, can you please explain the three types of vairagyas in short? Puran, Smashan, and that she just wants that point.
I told you, that Purana Vairagya means sometimes when you are listening to some discourses or come across some book, listen to the higher principles, for the time being, you feel as if you have to renounce everything and you go away. ऐसे कुछ हम बहुत बड़े साधु का अगर हम प्रवचन सुनते हैं, किसी प्रवचन में जाते हैं या किसी आश्रम में 7-8 दिन की एक साधना शिविर में जाते हैं, तो हमको लगता है क्या मैं जिंदगी जी रहा हूँ और कहाँ मैं फंसा हुआ हूँ, अभी तो ये सब छोड़ देना चाहिए मुझे. It is only temporary phase, it's only temporary phase which is known as पुराण वैराग्य. पुराणों का श्रवण करने के बाद या ग्रंथों का श्रवण करने के बाद for some time you feel as if you are going to renounce everything. It doesn't last for very long time, such vairagya. Or prasava vairagya means prasuti means giving delivery. So when the lady delivers, she feels that she will never go to the husband again. Now she is satisfied nothing, no sexual attraction anymore. That is what she feels for some time, just after the delivery. But that also lasts for only some time. After a time gap, it returns back. So such kind of vairagya is known as temporary vairagya. Like that smashana vairagya, when somebody dies, we do feel that, oh, the death is a reality and it can come to me also. हाँ, तो स्मशान में बैठे बैठे हमको लगता है कि 2 दिन की ही जिंदगी है और क्या ये सब मैं आसक्ति पकड़ के रखा हूँ, पैसे के पीछे पड़ा हूँ, नाम के पीछे पड़ा हूँ, ये सब छोड़ने का है, क्या है, ये कुछ नहीं है. But only for some time, so such temporary type of renunciation is not the one which is Vashikara Vairagya, which is something which should last long, which should last forever. Vashikara Vairagya is something which is not like a wave which comes in your life because of some incident, like a wave. I want to renounce the world. I am not interested in the world. A wave. The wave comes and goes. Along with the wave, the Vairagya also goes. So that is not thing which is expected to be. So there are temporary types of Vairagyas. So that is not something which is expected. So the questions are over.
Yeah, for first half, I think we can
Yeah.
say it is over.
So
We start
regarding this
at the end.
also,
Yeah.
I remember a very beautiful story
Sir, I
of.
have a question.
Please, please.
Again, going back to the separation and control, can you please explain the difference between the separation and control? When I'm doing abhyas, basically when I'm trying to do
I
abhyas and
actually explained it
vairagya,
right now. Suppression means something which you want to have, you have the thirst for it, but you don't do it. That is suppression. आपकी इच्छा है लेकिन आप इच्छा का दमन करते हैं, वो सप्रेशन है. I want to take tea, I don't take tea. I suppress my desire for tea. I suppress my desire for sex. I suppress my desire for so many things. That is suppression. Sublimation means I don't have vitrushna is the word.
no,
which
sir.
I found there.
I'm asking about the abhyas. When I'm trying to do abhyas, I'm trying to control and bring myself to the higher level or a higher branch or
Yeah,
higher attainment. So how
yeah.
do I do the abhyas?
That is
Say
why I
maybe
told you
I'm
that.
trying to control and trying to tell myself that this is a better thing for me. So then that means I'm doing abhyas to control that bad
If you are
habits.
trying to convince only, if you are trying to tell yourself that this is better, it will not come. If you experience that it is better through abhyasa, when you come to that comment, tatra stitau yatna abhyasa, that is what Patanjali has told. That if you enjoy the state of silence between the two thoughts, then you will really, that enjoyment, that bliss is of such a superior level that you will never think of going to the lower kind of attachment at all. It is a question of experiencing the higher bliss, which will automatically make the lower bliss to go out of your mind. So it is question of experiencing. At that experience comes, if you slow down the thoughts, that experience can come. You have to change the lifestyle. It will not come automatically. It will not come by any other means. If you want to find a gap between the thoughts, you have to change the lifestyle, which is right now the lifestyle is such that the thoughts are coming too fast in my mind. एक विचार आया, फिर दूसरा आया, फिर तीसरा आया, तो मैं देख ही नहीं सकता हूँ दो विचारों के बीच का गैप. I am not able to judge the gap between the two because they are coming so fast. If I change my lifestyle, that is the yogic way of lifestyle, where and then why the thoughts are fast? Because of the attachment. Those two things are very much with each other. What thought? That is why I say that if you go on writing down the diary, what type of thoughts you are getting, you will easily know that the thoughts of the objects to which you are attached, they occupy your mind. If you are attached to the money, the thoughts will be about the money only. Where I should invest the money, how can I curtail my expenses, which deposits I should make. All the time people go on thinking, because they are attached to money. Thoughts will be about money. If you are attached to children, thought will be about children, what my child will do, how I will, what education I should give him. This, that. Attachment is higher the attachment, intense the attachment, faster will be the thoughts which will be occupied. So, if more and more detachment will be there, the thoughts will be slowing down. So, the idea is to slow down your thoughts. If you slow down your thoughts, you will be able to pick up the gap between two thoughts. If you are able to stay in the gap, you will get such a blissful state that you will never go for the lower type of attachment. अगर आपने वो अमृत पी लिया तो आपको फिर और किसी की कुछ पीने की चाहत क्यों होगी? So it is through experience only you can really start renouncing. The yogis, they experience that bliss and therefore they are able to stay in that state of renunciation. If they don't experience that, they will not be able to stay in that. तो अनुभूति के बाद ही वैराग्य में आनंद है, इसकी अनुभूति आती है. अभी हमको क्या लग रहा है, वैराग्य यानी कुछ त्याग करना, मेरे पास जो कुछ है मैं छोड़ दे रहा हूँ. छोड़ देने से आनंद कहाँ आएगा? जो मेरे पास है वो मैं फेंक दिया, छोड़ दिया तो मैं दुखी हो जाऊंगा. वो वैराग्य है ही नहीं. इट इज नॉट वैराग्य. यू शुड फील द ब्लिस. हल्का हो जाना वैराग्य है. व्हेन आई डिटैच माई सेल्फ, I am cutting down the ties which are holding my consciousness to the lower earth, and therefore I am really flying higher and higher, and therefore I am enjoying more and more freedom, and therefore I am blissful. If I enjoy that bliss, then only vairagya becomes possible. So that's what I would like to say.
Thank you,
Can
sir.
I ask the next question? My name is Sujata, Sujata Joseph.
Yes, Sujata ji, sir, should we take one more question or we should take out at the end? You decide.
Now you decide. I will. Okay,
Can
last
we take at the end,
question.
Sujata ji?
After that, we will
Or
not allow
you want it
anything.
now only?
Last question you can ask.
Okay.
Well, yeah, let us take last question because there is one more session for today. Yeah,
Sure,
Sujata ji,
sure.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if someone has or have had some desire, that desire doesn't have to be even worldly things, but a good desire, but that person gets deprived all the time, what he wants to do. And then slowly what happens is that desire starts getting sort of dissolved because he never gets it. So once it goes away, then you get that, things change for you and you start getting the results of, now I can fulfill my desire, but interest for that desire is gone. So even getting the opportunity, you don't get any happiness about it. You just don't care about it. So ये कौन से टाइप का वैराग्य कौन से कैटेगरी में डालेंगे?
Because desire, if he has desire which he is not able to fulfill, if you ask Freud, Sigmund Freud, you have heard about him, the great psychologist, he says that such unfulfilled desires, they are in unconscious mind. They never know, they never go. If the desires remain unfulfilled, then they go to the unconscious mind and wait for their chance to come up again. They don't. So that is why it is not a question of, it is not vairagya at all. It is not vairagya. Only thing is he was not successful in satisfying it. And later on, when the time came, it was irrelevant for him to satisfy it. Just as in the childhood, you may have the desire to become very rich, and later on you earn money, you became very rich. So that desire to become rich has now gone because you have already become that. And therefore, you will say that now I am not interested in becoming rich or something like that. It becomes irrelevant in those things. So that is not vairagya actually.
Okay.
The circumstances are such that you don't need it anymore. That's all. Okay. But that is not vairagya. Vairagya means the desire is vitrushna, means not having desire at all. It is
Mhm.
not desire is there, but you don't have it. You don't satisfy it. That's not vairagya. Vairagya means desire doesn't arise at all. वितृष्णा प्यास लगती ही नहीं आपको. You are not thirsty at all. It is not that you are having thirst, but you don't drink water. That is suppression. The thirst doesn't arise at all because you are not interested. You get disinterested and therefore desire doesn't arise. That is vairagya.
And that could be the state, right? At that point, you don't care, you don't think, you don't really desire nothing.
Yes,
And
yes.
even if you get it, you don't get that happiness that you could have got many years ago or something. That's
So let us stop the discussion now.
okay.
And we can
Okay.
go further.
Yeah. Thank you.
So now to conclude this, I would like to tell you one very old story which I came across. There was a great mendicant, a sadhu, who was very young but totally involved in his sadhana. So he was not at all attached to anything. So his whole life was such that he will get up early in the morning, he will go to the river, he will take bath, he will do his prayers, he will whole day will pass on with his sadhana only, totally involved in his sadhana, not at all concerned about the world. Now in the same village, there was a very beautiful young girl, very beautiful, exquisite, अप्सरा जैसी थी वो, बहुत सुंदर लड़की थी. And you can say the whole village was mad after her. Such a beautiful word that वो एक उसका कटाक्ष पाने के लिए भी लोग मरते थे, उसके पीछे जाते थे. And therefore she had developed some sort of ego also about her beauty. You know that nobody can neglect me. You know, I am so beautiful. So some sort of ego about her own beauty. So she was really beautiful, of course. But then she noticed that this young sannyasi or that young sadhaka, he is not even looking at her. वो उसको देखता भी नहीं है और उसको उसके अहंकार को एक प्रकार से चोट पहुंच गई कि what is this man is not even looking at me and neglecting me altogether when the whole world is mad after me. So she started coming in front of him and doing so many things in order to attract his attention. उसके रास्ते में आकर वो ऐसे कुछ बातें करती थी कि जिससे कि उसका ध्यान उसकी तरफ जाए, वो उसके तरफ देखे, लेकिन वो उसके तरफ देखता ही नहीं था. वो अपने आप में मस्त था आदमी. और उसको इतना फिर उसको it became ego issue for her that why this fellow doesn't even look at me and doesn't give attention to me. So she started, when he was going to the river, she will stand in the middle itself, middle of the road. पगडंडी रहती है ना villages में, just a foot away. So she will stand there and she will not allow and something like that. So when it started happening, this sadhaka, he once he folded his hand and he says that, mother, if I have done something wrong, please excuse me, but please don't come in my way, you know. मैंने क्या आपका बिगाड़ा है? अगर आपका कुछ बिगाड़ा है तो मैं क्षमा चाहता हूँ, लेकिन मुझे अपने तरीके से जीने दो, मुझे क्षमा करो, ऐसा उसने कहा. और by this time this lady also was little ये तो इतना अरसिक आदमी है, ये क्या आदमी है, इसका क्या इंटरेस्ट है ना, ऐसा वो भी सोच रही थी. लेकिन वो बताए कि ठीक है, मैं तुम्हारे मार्ग में नहीं आऊंगा, बट तुमको मेरा एक प्रश्न के उत्तर देना होगा. You should answer my question, then only you will go. So he said, I will try my level best to answer your question. With folded hand, with he was not looking even at her, and he told, I will. He said that You don't have any attraction for any woman anytime? क्या स्त्री के प्रति जरा सा भी आकर्षण आपके अंदर नहीं है? आप अभी के अभी मुझे बताओ. आप अगर उत्तर देंगे मैं आपके बीच में नहीं आऊंगी. Then he folded hand against and he said that, Mother, I want some time from you to give answer for this. Please give me time. मुझे कुछ टाइम चाहिए. उसके बाद ही मैं आपके प्रश्न का जरूर उत्तर दूंगा. I promise you, I will answer your question. But till then, please do not disturb me. So she said, okay, because she was also now more interested in this man. वो आरसिकी है, कुछ कहता ही नहीं, तो छोड़ दिया उसने. And then so many days passed, so many years passed, and this lady also almost forgot about this man. She herself had become little old now. And when so many years have passed, once one brahmachari came to her house, knocked at her house. One young brahmachari, and he said that my guru, he is on the deathbed now. वो मरण शैया पर है और उसने मुझे कहा है कि आपको बुला के लेके आओ. He has called you. And that lady was so happy. That means she thought that there was some tinge of attraction for me. For so many years he is remembering me. And now I might have become little old and all that, but then she busily went to the ashram. And he was actually on the deathbed, and he was about to die. And she says, Mother, you have come, so thankful to you that you have come. Years ago you had asked me the question whether any time I was attracted towards woman or not. क्या स्त्री के बारे में जरा सा भी आकर्षण मुझे है, कभी भी हुआ है, ऐसा आपने पूछा था बहुत साल पहले. और मैंने आपको वचन दिया था कि आपके प्रश्न का उत्तर मैं दे दूंगा. अब तो मैं मरण शैया पर हूं. नाउ आई एम ऑन द डेथ बेड. नाउ आई कैन से विथ कॉन्फिडेंस दैट बाय गॉड्स ग्रेस आई वाज नेवर अट्रैक्टेड टू ए वुमन. कि अब परमेश्वर की कृपा से मैं कभी भी स्त्री का आकर्षण मुझे नहीं रहा. अभी मैं आपको बता सकता हूं. Then that woman was so wonderstruck. She said that, why didn't you tell me at that time itself? The question would have been over forever. उसी समय अगर आप बता देते तो प्रश्न ही खत्म होगा. इतने साल के बाद आप बता रहे हो. He said that, you know about Vishwamitra, his tapas was over when he was intense tapas, and Menaka came, and within no time his tapas was over. Who am I, a small sadhaka here, and how can I be? It would have been egoistic answer if I had told you at that time that I never have any attraction for a woman. Now I am sure, because I am going to die next moment, or I'm going to die. So now I can tell you. So this is what really vairagya means. That ahankara, that I have renounced everything, could come in between vairagya as well. So that is the story which I remember. Now we go to the next topic altogether, which is describing about sampradnyata and asampradnyata samadhi. Now there is some difference of opinion in the scholars whether sampradnyata and asampradnyata should be called samadhi or not, because later on Patanjal is going to define about sabija samadhi, nirbija samadhi, and dharma megha samadhi, which is the highest samadhi. So there is a difference. We will not enter into that type of discussion whether sampradnyata should be called as samadhi or should not be called as samadhi. Generally, people agree that sampradnyata is a kind of samadhi only. So we shall maintain that, noting down that there is some sort of difference of opinion as far as sampradnyata and asampradnyata is concerned. And another thing which I would like to tell you before we enter into it is that word asampradnyata had not been used by Patanjali at all. Sampradnyata has been used by Patanjali, but asampradnyata has not been used by Samadhi, by Patanjali. He says it is anya, it is another only. He doesn't name it. He doesn't name it. So those are the two things which I wanted to tell you before we enter into the Sutra number 17. 17वें सूत्र की चर्चा अब हम करने जा रहे हैं, जिसमें संप्रज्ञात समाधि, if we can call it that way, has been described. वितर्क विचार आनंद अस्मिता अनुगमात संप्रज्ञातः. So संप्रज्ञात samadhi is accompanied by vitarka. Vitarka means reasoning. Vichara, which means reflection. Ananda, bliss. And asmita, I consciousness. So sampradnyata samadhi is accompanied by vitarka, vichara, ananda, asmita. That is reasoning, reflection, bliss, and I consciousness. And this is known as sampradnyata samadhi. Some people call it sampradnyata yoga. We will not enter into that type of discussion. So now this word sampradnyata, let us talk about this word. Sam plus pra plus nya. These three roots have come together to give this word sampradnyata. So samyak, knowledge in all perspective, samyak, yathartha jnana. Prakarshena, and knowledge. So the knowledge which you get in sampradnyata yoga or sampradnyata samadhi is knowledge in all perspective, intense knowledge, and it is pradnya. You know what is pradnya? Pradnya means knowledge beyond the senses is called as pradnya. वो जो ज्ञान है वो त्रिपुटी का ज्ञान नहीं है, ये ध्यान में लेना चाहिए. Usually our process of knowledge is that there is an object, there is subject, and the interaction between subject and object is what we call as knowledge. हमारी जो ज्ञान की प्रक्रिया होती है, सर्वसाधारण ज्ञान की प्रक्रिया, कि कुछ वस्तु होती है और ज्ञात उसको ज्ञेय कहते हैं. ज्ञेय मीन्स ऑब्जेक्ट विच इज नोन, और ज्ञाता होता है, द नोअर इज ज्ञाता. माय माइंड, जनरली आवर माइंड इज द नोअर. जनरली आई एम स्पीकिंग, not from spiritual point of view, but generally it is the mind which is knowing the thing. And the interaction between mind and the object is what I call as the knowledge. इसलिए इसको त्रिपुटी ऐसा कहते हैं. ज्ञाता, ज्ञेय और ज्ञान, ये त्रिपुटी होती है. दिस इज कॉल्ड त्रिपुटी. तो हमारा सर्वसाधारण जो ज्ञान है वो त्रिपुटी से होता है. ज्ञाता, ज्ञेय और ज्ञान, subject, object, and interaction between subject and object, which I call as knowledge. Now pradnya is something which is beyond the senses. It is knowledge beyond the senses. Our knowledge, it comes through the senses. From the external world, through the sense organs, I receive the stimuli. I see something, I hear something, I smell something, I taste something, I touch something. So शब्द, स्पर्श, रूप, रस, गंध, ये जो 5 प्रकार की संवेदनाएं हैं, वो 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय द्वारा मेरे मन तक पहुंचती है. और इस प्रकार पंच ज्ञानेंद्रियों द्वारा मुझे ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है. मन के द्वारा मुझे ज्ञान प्राप्त होता है. प्रज्ञा मीन्स नॉलेज बियॉन्ड द सेंसेस एंड माइंड. तो संप्रज्ञात समाधि में जो ज्ञान होता है वो इंद्रियातीत होता है, इंद्रियों के परे होता है, मन के परे होता है, ये भी ध्यान में रखना चाहिए। और दूसरी बहुत महत्वपूर्ण जो बात है वो ये है कि ये एक प्रकार के अंतर यात्रा शुरू हो गई इसमें। योग ये अंतर यात्रा है। वी आर गोइंग टुवर्ड्स द सेल्फ. I want to discover the Purusha. I want to discover the essential consciousness which is there within me. So what I have to do, I have to go from the outer world to the inner world. I have to withdraw from the outer world. I have to then withdraw from the senses which are connected with the outer world. I have to withdraw from the mind which is connected to the senses. I have to withdraw from the intellect which is analyzing what has come through the mind, and I have to reach the source of knowledge which is Purusha. This is what is known as the inward journey of consciousness. Okay, this is known as inward. ये अंतर यात्रा है, बाहर से भीतर ये यात्रा होती है, और ये यात्रा तभी समाप्त होती है जब पुरुषाख्याति होती है, पुरुषाख्याति. When I get established in that Purusha Tattva, then that journey is over. So this inward journey of consciousness starts with Sampradnyata Yoga. And another characteristic of this inward journey of consciousness, it is a movement from gross to subtle. स्थूलता से सूक्ष्मता की ओर यह अंतर यात्रा होती है. We are moving from gross to subtle to still subtle to still subtle to the subtlest, or rather beyond subtlety. तो ये जो अंतर यात्रा है वो बाहर से भीतर यात्रा है, ये स्थूलता से सूक्ष्मता की ओर जाने वाली यात्रा है. और स्थूलता से सूक्ष्मता की ओर कैसे जाते हैं? फ्रॉम विचार, फ्रॉम वितर्क टू विचार टू आनंद टू अस्मिता. सो दिस इज हाउ in Sampradnyata Yoga I move from gross to subtle to subtle to subtle. Vitarka means gross thinking. Vitarka means gross thinking. What is that gross thinking? Suppose if I am looking at say flower, rose flower, what do I see first? I see the name, the form, the color, something which I grasp through the sense organs. Through the eyes I see the beautiful color of that rose, the size and the shape of it. Through my nose I smell a particular type of smell. These are the gross aspect of that object, which is known as vitarka. Vitarka means gross level of thinking. स्थूल विचार. तो पहले जो चीज, जिस चीज का मैं ध्यान करता हूँ, उस चीज के जो स्थूल नाम रूपात्मक जो विषय है उसके बारे में मुझे ज्ञान आता है. कैसा वो उसका रूप है, कैसा उसका रंग है. ज्ञानेंद्रियों से पैदा हुए नाम रूपात्मक उसका, that is what I feel, that is called vitarka. That is the vitarka level of knowledge. From vitarka I come to vichara. From gross to subtle, then I know the tanmatras which make that flower. Tanmatra, we have studied that. Behind Pancha Mahabhutas, there are Pancha Tanmatras. Shabda Tanmatra, Rasa Tanmatra. Shabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. These are Pancha Tanmatras, which are subtler than Pancha Mahabhutas. What are Pancha Mahabhutas? Prithvi, Apa, Teja, Vayu, Akash. These are the 5 gross elements. Behind that gross element, there are 5 subtle elements, you can say, which are called a Tanmatra. Okay. From the modern, if we want to use modern language, scientific language, then we can say that then I start looking for the molecular structure of that flower, the atomic structure of that flower. Why? What is the arrangement of the atoms and molecules which gives the property of the red color and a particular smell and all that to that flower? So this is subtle aspect of that thing. Everything is made up of atoms and molecules only. So when I know a thing, first I know the grass, shape, size, color, the grass aspect, that is vitarka. When I know the atomic structure, the atomic level, the tanmatra level, the subtle aspect, then I move from vitarka to vichara. I reflect upon it, that what is the structure. I find out that, okay. And then beyond that, I start becoming one with the object of meditation. You know, I have a kind of oneness with that object, and that oneness starts giving bliss or आनंद. अगर मैं पूरी तरह से एकाग्र होके उस वस्तु के साथ, जिस वस्तु का मैं ध्यान कर रहा हूं, उस वस्तु के साथ अगर एकरूप हो जाता हूं, तो वो एकरूपता का आनंद मुझे मिलता है. दैट इज व्हाई वी गो फ्रॉम वितर्क टू विचार टू आनंद, द ब्लिस. एंड आफ्टर आनंद I come to the knower who knows about that bliss, the I consciousness, to the observer. Now what is happening? I am really coming from observer to observer. This is the inward journey of consciousness. In inward journey of consciousness, I move from that which is observed out there, जो बाह्य वस्तु है, जो बाह्य जगत है, उससे जो देखने वाला है, जो निरीक्षण करने वाला है, जो दृष्टा है, वहां मैं आ जाता हूं. दैट इज अस्मिता. अहम अस्मि, आई एम. सो इन द संप्रज्ञात समाधि, one starts from any external object. Sampradyata samadhi, the inward journey of consciousness, is a meditative kind of journey which goes on. Any object of meditation will go in the same way. आप जब ध्यान करते हैं, किसी भी चीज का ध्यान करो. ध्यान के लिए आपको ओमकार का ध्यान करो, नहीं तो विपश्यना का ध्यान करो, नहीं तो किसी मूर्ति का ध्यान करो. किसी भी चीज का अगर आप ध्यान करते हैं, पतंजलि बताते हैं कि ये 4 स्टेप से ही आप भीतर चले जाएंगे, अपने आप तक चले जाएंगे. पहले उसके बारे में सोचेंगे, नाम रूपात्मक, उसकी जानकारी आपकी होगी, उसका ज्ञान आपको होगा. उसके बाद उसके तन्मात्रा का ज्ञान होगा, उसके अणुरेणुओं का ज्ञान होगा. You will know the atomic structure. Then you will start becoming one with the object, which will give you the aspect of bliss. Bliss comes with oneness. When you are one with the thing, every time that bliss has come, when you have become one with the thing, आप जब किसी बाह्य विषय के साथ एकरूप हो जाते हो, तो हमेशा आनंद की उत्पत्ति हो जाती है. और फिर जो आनंद ले रहा है उसके पास आप जाते हो. दैट आई कॉन्शियसनेस, अस्मिता. सो फ्रॉम वितर्क टू विचार टू आनंद टू अस्मिता, दिस इज हाउ द इनवर्ड जर्नी ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस गोज. When it is completed, it's known as samprajnata samadhi. When you come to that I consciousness, because it is a state of knowledge. You know, in each state you are getting knowledge. When you move from gross to subtle, the knowledge, there is expansion of knowledge, expansion of awareness as well. You become more and more, awareness becomes more and more expansive type of other awareness. और फिर आप प्रज्ञा के क्षेत्र में चले जाते हैं. You go beyond mind and senses, and you have higher spiritual knowledge about the object of meditation, and that higher spiritual knowledge is actually the knowledge of the I who is observing everything. Asmita, the I consciousness. Now journey is not over there. Journey is not over there because you have to go beyond I, but samprajnata samadhi is culminating in this asmita level. Okay, so that is what he says. And beyond that, he says, virama pratyaya abhyasa purvaha sanskara shesho anyaha. The next level of samadhi, he says, virama pratyaya. Pratyaya means experience. Pratyaya means experience. Virama pratyaya means cessation of experience. Pratyaya ke pare. When one goes beyond experience, virama pratyaya abhyasa purva, where only the subliminal impressions remain, संस्कार, केवल वहां संस्कार रह जाते हैं. What are those sanskaras? We will talk later. This, everything which we experience physically, mentally, intellectually, the corresponding impressions remain in the chitta. They are called as sanskaras. जो कुछ अनुभव हम ले रहे हैं ना, वो सारे अनुभूतियों का संस्कार हमारे चित्त पर रहता है. और ये चित्त के जो सारे संस्कार होते हैं, वो चित्त के संस्कार के जरिए ही हमें, जैसा भगवत गीता कहती है, अगला जन्म मिलता है. डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द sum total of the subliminal impressions which remain in our chitta, we get the next birth, you know. So that is really, हमारे यहाँ हम लोग सोचते हैं कि मरने के बाद जब हम जाते हैं तो वहाँ कोई चित्रगुप्त नाम का रहता है. चित्रगुप्त is an accountant who has who knows about papa punya, who knows about the sins and the virtues which we have. So as soon as we go to the doorstep of the heaven, that is what the people say. The Chitragupta will open the account book and will say, oh, you are Mr. So-and-so, so many papas, so many punyas, and he will do plus and minus, and he says that so many days you are going to live in the hell, so many days in the heaven, and when papa punya ka pura sanchay pura ho gaya, so then you will have the next birth, and next birth will depend upon how virtuous deeds you have done, how much, and all that. ये चित्रगुप्त असल में हमारे चित्त में ही है. उसको चित्रगुप्त इसलिए कहते हैं कि वो गुप्त रहते हुए चित्र लेता है. It is like CCTV camera which is set up in our heart. Heart doesn't mean the physical heart. Heart means center of our consciousness is known as Chidakash, or the heart of our consciousness we are talking about. So this heart of our consciousness, it has a kind of CCTV camera which goes on taking the pictures of whatever we experience. Those become sanskaras in our chitta. And with all those sanskaras, our next journey is decided. And when there are no sanskaras at all, that is liberation. If samskaras do not remain, then that is what happens with the yogis. That happens only in Dharma Megha Samadhi, which has been defined by Patanjali much later in the 4th chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Dharma Megha Samadhi ऐसी है कि जिसमें पूरे संस्कार खत्म हो जाते हैं और फिर कैवल्य स्थिति प्राप्त होती है. तब तक संस्कार तो रहेंगे ही, इसलिए संस्कार शेषो अन्य विराम प्रत्यय अभ्यास पूर्व संस्कार शेषो अन्य प्रत्ययो. So all the with the cessation of all the experiences, only when subliminal impressions remain, one enters from sampradnyata samadhi to anya samadhi. Now this anya samadhi, Patanjali had not said it is asampradnyata. Patanjali says Patanjali doesn't name it because It is beyond experience. You can describe something which is within the realm of experience. जो आपके अनुभूति के कक्षा में आता है उसको आप वर्णन कर सकते हो. जो अनुभूति के परे है वो अनुभूति के परे क्यों है? Because it is gone beyond asmita, beyond I consciousness. The experiencer is not there. In the anya samadhi there is no experiencer, and therefore there is no experience. When you go beyond the experiencer, the asmita is not there. The one who is experiencing everything is not there. You have gone beyond that, and therefore it is not a state of experience. And therefore, when there is no experience, you can't really describe it. वो अनिर्वचनीय स्थिति है. It is ineffable. It is indescribable. You can't. It is beyond words, and therefore Patanjali prefers to say it is anya. It is other than sampradnyata. Now the commentators later on, they said you can call it asampradnyata. Therefore they said, what is sampradnyata samadhi? The next one is asampradnyata. Patanjali has said it is anya samadhi. It is other than sampradnyata samadhi. Why it is other? Because the experience, you have gone beyond the experience. Okay. So, and therefore virama pratyaya, there is no pratyaya, there is no experience. So one which has gone beyond experience, where only the samskaras have remained, subliminal impression. That is why it is not a state of kaivalya, it is not a state of moksha, it is not a state of liberation, because those samskaras will bring the yogi back to the body mind complex. तो इसलिए ये कैवल्य स्थिति नहीं है, क्योंकि जो इम्प्रेशंस रहेंगे, जो संस्कार रहेंगे, इसलिए समाधि से योगी वापस अपने शरीर में आ जाता है, वो संस्कारों के कारण आ जाता है. And when he comes back, he remembers everything. What is his name? What is his body? How the mind is functioning? Everything is there as it is. Only for some time he has gone beyond body-mind complex to the world which is the infinite consciousness, which is full of bliss, अति आनंद. वो समाधि में गया है, लेकिन वो वापस क्यों आता है? When he comes back to the body, because of the samskara shesha, the remaining subliminal impressions bring him back to the body. So it is not a state of liberation. Okay, only when all the samskaras are washed out, he really never comes back again. Then it is the final samadhi, which is after dharma mega samadhi, the kaivalya avastha. So that is what he says. So in short, we have seen the two types of samadhis which have been expressed in 17 and 18. And since it is 6 o'clock, already we have crossed the time, so we shall stop here at sloka number 18. If there are some few quick questions, and if he allows, we can have it some discussion for 5 minutes or so.
Yes, sir. We have some questions. Should we take them, sir? Is it okay?
Yes, we can.
First is Jayanti Narvekar. Jayanti ji, पूछिए. What Sutra 16 says? Does it mean that it is the state of samadhi? She's asking.
Which one?
Sutra 16.
16 is talking about parama vairagya. Tat param purushat khyate guna vaitrishnam. It is describing para vairagya 16 sutra, where one becomes gunatita, and that para vairagya is a state of kaivalya. Really speaking, you are right. It is a state, one who has reached a state of parama vairagya, he is dissociated from prakriti itself. Okay, so that leads to kaivalya state. You are right. Parama vairagya is withdrawal from prakriti, because guna vaitrishnam, he is not with prakriti is trigunatmak, so when he goes beyond, he becomes gunatita. and therefore he is establishing himself.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Sujata Josephji has written, what is the difference between Virakta, Vairagya and Sthita Prajna?
What is that?
Virakta, Vairagya and Sthita Prajna. Is there any difference?
Yeah. Virakta means in general, whatever you are attached to, you get detached. That is called Virakta. Rati means getting attachment. So you can become Virakta. Virakta could be selectively Virakta. You are Virakta as far as eating is concerned. You are not particular about particular kind of food and this. So that is Virakta, Virakti. Virakti ye shuruat hai. It is the initial stage of Vairagya, you can say, Virakti. When the Virakti becomes total, you are totally detached from the whole world itself. Then Vairagya, what was the next? Virakta, Vairagya and?
Sthita Prajna.
Vairagya, of course, we have discussed these two sutras on Vairagya. One is Vashikara Vairagya, when you have total control over the body-mind complex and you are not attached to anything to which body-mind complex is attached. It is called Vashikara Vairagya. Vashikara really means having total mastery over the things of the world. And if you become Gunatita, if you withdraw from Prakriti itself, then it is Para Vairagya. That is total detachment from everything. Okay. Now, Sthita Prajna is a particular kind of samadhi which has been described in Bhagavad Gita, which is really very beautiful. What Patanjali is describing is a kind of static samadhi. Patanjali samadhi and Bhagavad Gita samadhi is slightly different. I am not discussing here that this is better than that or that is better than this. But in Bhagavad Gita, the samadhi is in action. The sthita prajna में जो स्थित है, one who has established himself in the higher spiritual knowledge is known as sthita prajna. So sthita prajnasya का भाषा समाधिस्तस्य केशव. स्थितधि किम प्रभाषेत किमासीत व्रजेत किम. सो स्थित प्रज्ञ तो समाधि स्थिति में हमेशा रहता है, हमेशा यानी हमेशा, while doing all actions. पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् नश्नन् गच्छन् श्वपन् श्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन् अपि इंद्रियाणि इंद्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन्. Very beautifully said in Bhagavad Gita. Pashyan, Shrunuan, Sprushan, Jigran, while seeing, while eating, even while excreting, even while talking, walking, in all actions, he is with himself. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. He is just witnessing what the senses, what the body, he becomes only a pure witness during action. So we can say, with because we have to use words, I am using those words, it's a kind of dynamic samadhi. It's a kind of samadhi in action. While Patanjali samadhi is static, sthira sukham asanam, then pranayam also controlled, then you are sitting static kind of samadhi in which everything comes stand still, and therefore you release yourself from the bondages of Prakriti and go. So I feel that the samadhi described in Patanjali Yoga Sutra is static samadhi, and sthita prajna avastha described in Bhagavad Gita is dynamic kind of samadhi.
That's great. And that also answers the next question about whether it stops karma. You already answered that when you said Sthita Prajna. It does not stop with karma. It does not stop karma. Sudarshana ji, you raised hand. You want to ask?
Yeah. Sir, I had a question about Vitarka Samprajnata Samadhi. So in Vitarka Samprajnata Samadhi, since it is cross, so the Triputi still exists, right? The process of...
Yes, Triputi will exist for some time because we are going outside. If the object of meditation is outside, and therefore you know it with name and form. So that is why Vitarka. Vitarka means with gross aspects of the object of meditation, like name, form, color, and all that. So there will be triputi in that.
And
Yes.
can prajna be classified as aparoksha jnana, sir? Something that is beyond paroksha?
Yeah, in a way, yes. In a way, yes. But aparokshanubhuti is even beyond prajna,
Beyond.
really speaking.
Beyond.
Prajna is higher knowledge, knowledge beyond the extra sensory perception, इंद्रियातीत अनुभूति, उसको प्रज्ञा ऐसा कहते हैं. यू आर गेटिंग इंट्यूटिव टाइप ऑफ नॉलेज, दैट इज कॉल्ड प्रज्ञा. प्रज्ञा में जो ज्ञान होता है वो इंद्रियों के परे होता है, मन के परे होता है, और वो अंतर्ज्ञान जैसा होता है. लेकिन अपरोक्ष अनुभूति मीन्स एक्चुअली the anubhuti of the Atman itself. You are with that is the highest type of you can say spiritual experience is aparoksha anubhuti, without any medium, immediate perception. That is what you can term as.
Okay. And my last question is, sir, why is it called asmita samprajnata samadhi? Because it's
Asmita, because I amness. When you are withdrawing, you come from an external world, that rose flower, to the reflection of the atomic structure of it, to the bliss which you are enjoying when you are looking at it, to the knower itself. And in us, the ordinary people, the knower is I, asmi. Asmi means aham asmi. That I, the pure I consciousness, not really ahankara, but I consciousness, asmita. Okay, so he is the observer. So you come to the observer. You come from the observed out there to the observer. That is why we call it inward journey of consciousness.
involution. Got it. So asmita would be at the level of the drashta, right? At the level of the drashta.
No, drashta is still behind asmita also.
Behind asmita. Okay.
Ah.
Okay. And in sadhana chatushtaya, viraga is defined as iha amutra phalabhoga viraga. So iha is basically drashta. Can we say that iha is drashta?
No, iha means this.
This world, the
Iha
world
means
that
world.
world.
It is iha amutra phala bhoga viraga means I have got attachment to this world, and I have got attachment to the other world. Amutra means other world, that means swarga and whatever I am going to get after death and everything, that's amutra. So iha amutra phala bhoga viraga. I am not concerned with the phala or the fruits which I will get here or in the other world. That is what vairagya means there.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
Thank you. Ben Joseph ji, you have asked question. You want to ask yourself? You have written in the chat box. Is sanskar also type of attachment? He's asking.
Yeah, surely. We are attached to our samskara, subliminal impressions. That is why the yogi, after going to samadhi, also comes back because of those samskaras. He comes back to the body-mind complex. वो शरीर छोड़ के तभी नहीं जाता है, समाधि का अनुभव लेने के बाद भी वो वापस इसलिए आ जाता है संस्कारों के कारण, which we can say pull him back to the body. So samskaras are definitely attachment. Actually, the intense type of experiences will form very deep type of samskaras. One of the very deep samskaras is I consciousness. मैं हूं ये भाव, ये भी हमारा संस्कार ही है. असल में ये तो I है ही नहीं. It is only pure consciousness, pure आत्मन. But ये मैं हूं, और जिस समय ये मैं हूं ये भाव पैदा होता है, उसी समय मेरे सिवा दूसरा ये जगत है ये भी अनुभव आने लगता है. So it is that I consciousness which separates us from the universal consciousness. This is also one of the samskars I have. The very deep samskara me, and then I want to protect myself. और इसलिए वो मृत्यु का भय, अभिनिवेश क्लेश, which we are going to learn about in Patanjal Yoga Sutra. So all those they come from I. So at the root of all that is I, Asmita.
So sanskar in that case, is it a kind of a limitation also because you're not considering the other possibility or not looking at the other possibility?
Tatkara.
No, so sanskar.
Samskara.
Yeah.
Samskara means impression. Everything which we experience in the world, with that experience, there is also impression in our consciousness. Every experience leaves an impression in our consciousness. That impression is known as samskara.
Yeah. So
Even
my
now,
question.
when we are talking, this talking will also leave some sort of impression in our consciousness. It forms a samskara. So some samskaras are trivial. It will come and go. If it, then the ego selects that this is very important samskara. I have to retain it in my memory. Okay. So ego decides which samskaras are to be retained for a very long time and which are just coming and going. Just as even when we eat food today, it might have left some samskara that it was good or bad but what we ate some 7 days before, those samskaras have gone. They are washed out because the ego says it is not so important. So ego really decides which samskaras are to be held for a very long time or almost permanently, and which can be given up, which is not so important for me. Okay. So retention of memory is through ego.
Okay. I think he was just asking, does it limit our, because we have particular sanskara, does it limit the other possibilities?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly. Depending upon your life is guided by your samskaras. Definitely. जैसे संस्कार होंगे उसी प्रकार आपकी जीवन पद्धति होगी, उसी प्रकार आपको आपके इंटरेक्शन होंगे with the world. That is why in early life it is very important to have good sanskars. If in early life, if you are seeing everywhere drunkards and the corrupt people and that type of samskaras only have in your chittashaya, you will also become corrupt, you will also become drunkard. So your lifestyle is mostly decided by your samskaras only. That is why संस्कार, अच्छे संस्कार होना, ये जो कहते हैं ना, वो उसी के लिए कहते हैं. If you are in good company, if you have good parents, if you have good environment, you become a good man. Your personality depends upon your samskars.
Varsha Galaji, next question. We have this and one more question, Varsha ji and then Gautam ji.
Namaste.
Last question. After this, we'll stop.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Namaste. Sir, in last answer, before this Sanskara's answer, when you were explaining Asmita, you spoke about universal consciousness and individual consciousness. But in Sankhya and Yoga, do we talk about supreme consciousness? Because Purusha is individual.
Yeah. Purusha is supreme consciousness only.
Okay. So Purusha in all of us is same entity as supreme consciousness.
Yeah, more or less. Actually, later on we are going to say in Patanjal Yoga Sutra slightly differs from Sankhya there because it has the concept of Ishvara, which is a special Purusha, which is Klesha Karma Vipaka Ashayo Aparamrushta Purusha Vishesha Ishvara. So one who is withdrawn from all Kleshas, Karmas, the Vishesha Purusha, special type of Purusha, Patanjali has said as the Ishvara, which is supreme consciousness according to Patanjali. As far as Shankhyas are concerned, they regard Purusha only as the supreme consciousness.
Okay.
But in Sankhya, Purushas are many. Purusha in you and Purusha in me and Purusha in as many Jivas are there, so many Purushas are there. So we do not enter into that.
So I thought it is same in Yoga Sutra also. Till date, I was thinking that.
No, more or less it is same, but Yoga Sutras also have the Vishesha Purusha, which they call as Ishvara.
That can be supreme consciousness. We can take
supreme consciousness. Yes.
Thank you so much. That is really a new insight that I got. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think Sir has said that we'll stop here for today. There was one hand, Gautam Chokshi ji. I think so. We'll take that next time or something. Next time लेंगे गौतम जी. Just hold on for you with the
गौतम जी
question.
को पूछने दो, ठीक है? गौतम जी क्वेश्चन
गौतम जी पूछिए, सर ने बोला है पूछिए.
गौतम चोपची तो I can't avoid his question, so it must be
Okay.
there. Yes,
Sir,
please
पूछिए.
go ahead.
आपको अनम्यूट करना है. You are mute, sir. गौतम जी, अनम्यूट कीजिए.
Okay, sir. So I would like to know something, the difference of Sampragat and Asampragat Samadhi, just in short.
So we have discussed that Sampradnyata Samadhi goes with Vitarka Vichara Ananda Asmita.
Yeah, correct.
अस्मिता तक आती है.
Yeah, और
और
Asampragat,
अस्मिता के परे जो चली जाती है
so that is Asampragat.
असंप्रज्ञात.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
And that is why it is beyond description, because we
It's not
experience
experience. It
everything
is not
through the
experience.
eye. When it goes beyond the eye, you can't really describe anything about it.
Yes.
वो अधिवचनीय हो जाती है.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Namaskar, sir. Namaskar.
It was wonderful, and thanks
Thank you, sir.
especially to
Wonderful.
Shriram Agashe sir. It was really experience always which cannot be even explained. So that's how we also feel when we go through this listening. Thanks to all the participants also for wonderful participation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Small
Very
prayer.
wonderful lecture. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
We'll just say a small prayer, all of us, and then we'll stop here.
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om.
Next Saturday again.
Sarve सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम थैंक यू थैंक यू to all of you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
थैंक यू सर खूप सुंदर
Thank you.
झालं.
Hari Om, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Indeed, it was a pleasure.